Hello, we are here, we are back. 9th episode of Road to Super Bowl, season number 2. Show, podcast, whatever you want to call it, they try to get you behind the eyes of general managers, of the front offices of NFL teams, talking about what their plans are, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and when or if they can reach as high as Super Bowl. And today we are here with the first team of the season number 2 that I believe if they would go and win a Super Bowl this season, it should not come as a total surprise. Like, you might say, what about the Falcons? What about the Bears? I would say that's wishful thinking. I think with the Jets, they are legit Super Bowl contenders. Or at least that's the public opinion. How do I feel about them? Let's find out. And before we start analyzing their draft, analyzing their roster, I would say we need to talk about what their plan is or what I believe their plan is. And for that we need to go a year to year 2023 to the offseason. And I feel that they were clearly saying, look, we have championship style and quality defense with one of the premium defensive head coach. And we have enough offensive talent that if we can lure very good quarterback, we can win Super Bowl with this combination. And as a matter of fact, they found the guy, Aaron Rodgers. They were able to bring him here. It's really similar to what the Tampa did with Tom Brady. And this approach says, look, there is a short window with experience, really great QB late in his career that kind of chases rings, that wants to win a Super Bowl, absolutely. And we have a team that provides him with this opportunity. And we are focusing on this window. This approach obviously has some limitations because you are not working with your long-term answers for a QB, but also it gives you really good chances of winning Super Bowl. So why would you not take that? I have really zero problem for that commitment. But you have to say that most likely from this, let's say, marriage, you get 2, in best case scenario, 3-year type of window because of the age of the QB, because that roster that you are providing him is going to get older, rookies that you have are going to need to get paid, and you will eventually lose some of that roster talent that you kind of lure this QB with. So for Jets, I would really say that the window is 2 years because they are really pushing some money down the line. Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner are not necessarily going to play under different cap situation next season, but it's coming. A new contract and a big contracts are coming. And also you are really just pushing money down the line. So I would say they said, well, this is our 2 years window. We have Robert Saleh that should deliver championship style defense, and Aaron Rodgers, we have enough talent that you should lift up to be average to above average type of offense with combination of really special defense. This is a championship type of material of a team. And yeah, I would say that's really an approach that can work. And I would also not say that anything described in this, like let's say, proposition is fake, because that defense is something special and was even last year, and offense has talent. The problem is, for the first year of this 2-year window, everything kind of went down to the drain, in like 4 snaps into their season when Aaron Rodgers unfortunately got injured and his season was done, right? One thing I am really not sure about is why wouldn't you try to sign a replacement in terms of someone like Tyrod Taylor? I don't think he would cost you that much to lure from Giants. And with the defense, I would still say you would have at least reasonable chance to reach postseason with Tyrod Taylor instead of Zach Wilson. I don't want to, as I would believe a lot of Jets fans will, throw everything negative to Zach Wilson. He was not in a position to start last year. He was clearly losing confidence in starting QB. As of right now, he is a bust. And the plan with him was let's sit you behind Aaron Rodgers for 2 years. He is a good mentor, you adore him, and then for 2026 or 2027, you will get an opportunity if we feel like you are making a progress in a year where we are kind of paying our debts, where we have like 60 million debt cap hit. So in a year when we are not pursuing anything meaningful in terms of playoff appearance, winning division, or going after Super Bowl, you will get your chance. And if suddenly after the mentorship you are great, fine, we have our guy. And if you are not, well, it is what it is, right? He was not supposed to play last year. He was not ready for it, and it showed. It was ugly. So this is really how I view this Jets team, and I think last year's offseason as well as this one kind of proves me right that this is how they think about this window as well. Because in this offseason they went out and they signed players that are injury prone. Because of that, they are cheaper than what their quality would suggest. And they are like, okay, if those guys can stay healthy, Mike Williams, Morgan Moses, Tyron Smith, and let's say Aaron Rodgers, though he's obviously not the guy that you've signed this offseason, we can have legit Super Bowl hopes. Fair enough. You are all in this approach. You will pay your debt perhaps as early as next season, but this is the year that you are trying to win. Good for you. I really have no problems with this approach because it's clear what you are trying to do. You understand that you don't have that much of quality in the roster. You need to take risks. You need to take risks on players that are injury prone because you don't have that much of cap space, and you went for it. Good. With that in mind, let's start and talk about the draft. And let's start with Olu Fashanu, a guy that general public likes this pick, and I am skeptical. And the reason why I'm skeptical, and I'm ready to be proven wrong, and I'm also ready to adjust my grade, is if he's brought as we need someone to step up if Moses or Smith is injured. We need someone for our season to not end with like absolutely lackluster player playing either left or right tackle. We want that insurance. Well, that's where I'm skeptical. Not that Fashanu is not a good insurance, or he's actually going to be, I think, a successful player for a long time here in Jets. But I don't think you have that luxury to get this insurance. You have some other holes on this roster, and you have this year. It's not like the next year you have reasonable chances to have as good of a chance to win Super Bowl as this season. It's clear that several of the players won't be here or will need to get paid much more than you are. You are already pushing like Aaron Rodgers contract money towards next season. So I don't think you have that luxury to pay super premium for this insurance. I think you need insurance for these two injury-prone guys. It should have been some veteran depth option, not 11th pick of this draft. Where I understand it is they're obviously both injury prone, and you just don't want your season to end similar to us, where one guy goes down and the other roster talent is just misused, or not misused, it's just wasted because it's such a big hole that you cannot function with it. First of all, tackle is not a QB, so I think you could still work even if like Morgan Moses is replaced with someone like a solid backup, though obviously your chances are really going down. Second of all, I really feel like they could have been some veteran option. I don't know, like David Bakhtiari is still out there. The question is how much money would he want, but I think there were insurance policies that you could have provided for this team that would be much cheap than 11th pick of this draft. And yeah, that's where my problems are. Where I can stay corrected is if they view him as a potential starting guard that is better than what they have. But he never played guard as far as I know. So it's big if. So if they will manage, which by depth chart doesn't look like it, but if they will manage to transform him into guard that is better than what they have right now, because let's face it, they don't have a really great inside offensive line. And with that being starting left guard, let's say, and insurance policy for Morgan Moses and Tyron Smith. Well, now we're talking. I would give that pick an A-, but nothing from what I'm hearing and reading right now points to this way, as far as I know. So that's where this pick, to me, the guy is really good. This is definitely a place that you should draft him, understand the long term with him, but it just goes against what I think this season's goal is. But good luck, Olu. I think you are going to be a great Jet player for a long time. Then let's go to Malachi Corley. He was drafted, I believe it was second round. Guys, if there is some mistake on this graphics, I'm truly sorry. It was a long time putting it together. So if there is some misstep, I think he was drafted in third round, but not 56 overall. Really sorry about that. I will make right in descriptions, or please give me notes. What it doesn't change is that I really believe that this guy is great value pick. Yeah, I think he was late third round, so it should be like 86 of yeah, I believe it, 86. I'm not sure right now. Why I think he's value? Well, first of all, if I'm not super mistaken, then he was actually really late third round pick, or like middle third round pick. I think he should have been from the board. And second is, if they can persuade Aaron Rodgers to leave kind of Alan Lazard behind, I think this is a guy that already is at his level, if not better, and should really nicely complement Garrett Wilson and Mike Williams within this offense, and hopefully put Alan Lazard off the field, because he was a liability for this team last season. So I really like Malachi Corley. The only question mark is he's supposed to play Alan Lazard's position, and Aaron Rodgers likes Alan Lazard. He is the guy who kind of gave him, in a way, this huge contract that he has with Jets, and he was always able to lift him up. So that's one thing. Alan Lazard looks like a different player when he plays with Aaron Rodgers, so he definitely lifts him up. Then we continue to the rest of the draft, and Braylon Allen. Well, what is there to say? I think he's a real nice compliment to Breece Hall. Yeah, I clearly had something wrong with because obviously he wasn't drafted third and 56 overall. I'm really sorry. I will put right numbers under the video. Sorry for this, guys. But Braylon Allen, I believe it was fourth round pick. First of all, he should have been off the board. Second of all, he absolutely fits, I would say, a need, because Breece Hall has some injuries in his past, and also the backup options for him were not something you dream about. And Braylon, I would say, is a really nice compliment to Breece Hall. Also a guy that you can count on for the future. So he kind of fits every box that I would have. Jordan Travis, like it seems harsh to put a C on him. I would say that if you wanted a backup QB, there were better options than him. There were kind of, let's say, cheaper option in terms of signing a veteran and spending this draft pick, but it's not like it's the most valuable draft pick, right? So like slight problems, but nothing that should decide their season for sure. Isaiah Davis, Quantas Stiggers, Jalen Kay, I would say nothing I have to add to these guys. Taking flyers on some of them. I don't expect them to have really big opportunities here or make a big name. I just don't feel like they are potential NFL players in any role than is backup. And especially when we're talking, this is the year, I just don't see them being any influence and any plus for this team. I hope I will be wrong. I'm always rooting for young guys, but I don't see that. Now let's talk about the offense, and we start with offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett. I don't think he's a good offensive coordinator. So, like, let's put it this way. I think he's someone that works very well with Aaron Rodgers, that will allow Aaron Rodgers to influence this offense. Perhaps he is someone that will make Aaron Rodgers happy in a way. that he can feel like he has a finger on the pulse of this offense. And perhaps that's what you have to live with when you are hiring or signing an experienced veteran, future Hall of Famer, one of the best that ever played this game type of QB. That's maybe something you have to work with, just as Alan Lazard. Also, the deal kind of loses its value there because I really don't think that both Hackett and Lazard elevates this team in any sense of imagination. Also, you can call me a bit biased for Nathaniel Hackett because of the Denver Broncos Russell Wilson situation where Nathaniel was here. So, am I unbiased in the opinion? No, but I don't think anyone ranks Nathaniel Hackett as anything better than like top 25 offensive coordinator or guy that runs offense in any team of NFL besides Aaron Rodgers. What he has to work with is really good crew of weapons and players, though something that is like hard to quantify here, but I was trying to do that, but with as many as this team has in terms of injury-prone guys, it was super hard. So it has some influence, but it's mostly like if it's one guy that's like a key for the team, you can put it in. If it's like 4 or 5 guys, like should I just write weaponry C and then show you Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Mike Williams? I just cannot make myself to do it. So it's a weird situation when if there was one injury-prone guy, it would probably influence this more than when it is 4 or 5. So it's weird, I'm sorry, but that was kind of my thinking about this because then those rankings would make really close to no sense towards like week 1, which is something I also am trying to give you. So let's start and check the QB room. And look who is here, Tyrod Taylor. They've done it. They've signed Tyrod Taylor. I absolutely love this signing. He is, to me, 30 to 35th best QB in the league. He is a guy that if Aaron Rodgers goes down, if he feels soreness with the injury or with something of his body, he can give you a win. He is mature enough, he understands his role, he obviously wants to win a ring, why would he not? And he absolutely gives you a good enough insurance for if Aaron Rodgers goes down for a week or two, your season is not over. You can win even tough games with Tyrod Taylor. Obviously, if Aaron Rodgers goes down for extended period of time, your Super Bowl hopes are probably down. Like, I don't think Tyrod Taylor can lead you to the Super Bowl, but towards the playoff, in case that Aaron Rodgers can make recovery for playoff, why not? So really like the signing. With Aaron Rodgers, I have him as an amazing starter. I think that's definitely a rank that he deserves. To me, he's no longer elite, but to put him as just impactful starter, I think there is a long way towards that. Jordan Davis, like I said, I just don't see why you felt the need for him, but okay, it's not the most valuable pick. Now, let's talk about this running back room, and they are clearly kind of done with Israel Abanikanda because they drafted Barrel Allen. They know what they have in Breece Hall. So, okay, he's the guy that you kind of invested something in and you are pretty much done with it very soon. Kind of sad. He most likely won't get many opportunities. I really do expect Barrel Allen to be a backup to Breece Hall. And Breece Hall, man oh man, he looks like a really special type of back. Can he ever reach that elite status for me? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I see it in him. But you should be absolutely happy when Breece Hall is your running back. You can see his stats last year. What really is very, very good about him, he's very good with his hands. One of the best out there. And now let's talk about wide receivers, and we have to start with Garrett Wilson. Like his bromance with Aaron Rodgers in last year, Hard Knocks was very well documented. It seems like the best partnership. Let's just wait for them to be unleashed, and then 4 snaps in, it was over. Also in this offseason, there were other reports that they had like some kind of a fight on the training ground. But I would say both understand we need each other if we want to win Super Bowl. So do I read into that? No, it just happens. Sometimes you disagree with someone. You explain your opinion to him maybe a bit too loudly, and the media will say, oh, there is a fraction. I don't really believe there is. Garrett Wilson is special. He had it hard with Zach Wilson last season, but still he delivered quite nicely. And also when I say he had it hard, it was like him or kind of nobody in terms of wide receivers last season. Like, it was not only about Zach Wilson, but the protection wasn't there, and also the targets wasn't there for Zach Wilson to throw at. He has that this season with Mike Williams. The question is, how long will you have Mike Williams to target? Because obviously this is one of the most injury-prone guys in the league. When he's out there, he is still an impactful starter, but he is not out there a lot of the times. And to me, great signing. Like, if he stays healthy, amazing. If he doesn't, well, you needed to take this risk. So just wish he will, and you go from that. Behind him, like I said, Malachi Corey, Alan Lazard fighting for that third spot. I hope for Jet's sake, Malachi Corey wins this one. But will I be surprised if Alan Lazard gonna get targets from Rodgers, will be that third piece of this trio? Absolutely not. He was really, truly horrible last season. Not even catching 50% of balls when he was targeted. His numbers were abysmal. He didn't really do much of, like, even in terms of run blocking. But it was bad season for Alan Lazard. And like, was it bad season, or was he showing what he is when he doesn't get balls from Aaron Rodgers? I would say the second thing. And again, nothing personal against Alan. He just is overpaid as hell, and I don't think he is a plus for this team. In terms of tight ends, Tyler Conklin, Jeremy Ruckert, one of the worst tight end rooms in the league. I would say they are mostly here to like be there in a way, you know? Like, they should not be a focal point of this offense. They should not be anything special, even in terms of their pass blocking or run blocking. Obviously, Tyler Conklin has some tricks up his sleeve, so he is not necessarily a bad tight end. I would never say that. But as your number one, you would definitely like to have someone else. But he gets the job done. Jeremy Ruckert, kind of an afterthought. I feel like this team will live and die in a way in 11 personnel, though they are thin even with wide receivers if Mike Williams goes down. So again, we will talk about this a lot, or we've addressed it already. This team understands this is our year, this is our window. We are going to be thin. We will hope that most of our players will stay healthy, and if they will go down, we will try to work it out, but this gives us the best chance to win the Super Bowl this season. And now let's talk about the offensive line, and I've already addressed their both tackles, Morgan Moses and Tyron Smith. When healthy, this is top 7 tackle duo, perhaps top 5 tackle duo in the league. Morgan Moses comes back to New York. It's really two really good guys. You know, amazing starter, impactful starter, really nice grades, you can show it. They had really good last season. They've managed to stay healthy for their usual standard. So you hope that can prevail to this season. But would you bet your house on it? Probably not. So that's where most likely Olu will step in. Should be looking good. I have a belief that he should not be looking like worse than like Paris Johnson was last year. He should be really good out there for rookie tackle. Only problem is, like, if those two guys kind of stay healthy and Olu doesn't really play the season, you went for it with 11, and for 11 pick you pick a guy that didn't play, which also is kind of one of the knocks for their last offseason, where they spent their first round on Will McDonald, edge piece, that was immediately their 5th best edge rusher. So, you know, like, that pick made even less sense than Olu here, despite that both of these players at those places where they were picked, it's not like it was reach or they don't necessarily will have great careers here, but they just don't match the Aaron Rodgers window very well. Where I was talking about Fasciano, and when I am prepared to be a little bit less skeptical about this pick, is if they figure out that he can play guard somehow and be better than either John Simpson or Elijah Vera Tucker. Also, Elijah had his season end up pretty early with injury. Is he injury concerned? Not necessarily, but again, you will have the question mark. With Joe Tippmann, this creates, I would say, serviceable interior, but something that you know is a minus for your team, and you have to work around that. In terms of backups, Max Mitchell, Wes Schweitzer, really nothing that you are confident that if guys go down, we can replace them with anyone that is on their level. It's not like a huge difference, but that's hard to have when already your starting guys are not something special, right? So the depth for interior is, I would say, kind of as bad as the actual starting lineup in terms of comparison. Compare the depth towards what the depth is in other teams, and compare the starting lineup to what other teams are having. So that was the offense for the Jets. I would say there's gazillion outcomes, gazillion possibilities because of how many guys have huge injury history. If they all stay healthy, this has definitely a making of top 10 offense, which combination with this defense is a Super Bowl material. How likely is that? Under 10-15%. Obviously, when you say if one goes down, I would say hopefully, in a way, it's either Morgan Moses or Tyron Smith, because you have a replacement. It's not like I wish these guys anything bad, but for them you have a replacement. For Mike Williams, for Aaron Rodgers, for like Breece Hall, who also had some injuries, you are going much lower in terms of who you are replacing them with. Now let's talk about this defense, which has been spectacular last season, but it went kind of to nothing good because the offense just couldn't get the job done. And it's going to be led by Robert Saleh. Despite me ranking him as the A- type of defensive coach, which I definitely believe he is, he might be on a hot seat. Because as much as people like him, as much as I really believe he's one of the best defensive minds out there, the results with the Jets under him are not something spectacular. And you can point it to unfortunates, to injuries, but well, at the end of the day, after a couple of seasons, despite how horrific bad luck you had, the results will be what you are kind of judged on. So, he and like Brian Dable are two guys that, in my opinion, are on a hot seat, not because of the quality that they have, but because of the results that are perhaps expected. And it's not without interest that it's both guys in New York. Like, it's New York. Like, the fans are, let's say, less patient than perhaps in other cities. But what Robert Saleh has to work with, well, it's really a special group of talent. And we start with defensive line, and there is the but. Not that he's a but, but. Hassan Reddick, a guy that they've traded for, and from my understanding, the deal was, well, we will trade for you and we will give you a new deal. Here we are, 2 weeks before the season, and he doesn't have a new deal. Which also means he is not showing up for practice. He reportedly wants out. He wants to be traded. Even Aaron Rodgers went into the base about that he was like, yeah, I might write to him, say like, let's win together. Let's perhaps take care of money next time. Or no, to be fair to Aaron, like he said that he understands that he needs to provide for his family. Yada, kind of a usual talk. Nothing really that you have not seen from other people trying to be, let's say, political about answering these questions. But if he's missing, that's a problem. Like, he got 15 sacks last year. the number is a bit inflated, but he is still the best edge piece that they have, and definitely someone that they count on. So without him, this defensive line is still going to be great because they have some other pieces, but it's going to take quite a significant step down, especially in terms of pass rush. Because you have Michael Clemens, you have Jermaine Johnson, and you have Will McDonald. So you will be okay without Hassan Reddick, but you won't be special, or not special, but anything like hugely positive. You know, special is like Myles Garrett and company. Here you would be good, decent enough without Hassan Reddick in terms of edge pieces. Will McDonald, we talked about him last year's first rounder. His rookie season, his rookie tape looked good, but he played 183 snaps. Like, that's where we are like, why are you picking guys with those valuable picks that are not going to be an immediate impact when you are with Aaron Rodgers' window? Well, we want to be good after. Well, I understand that, but you cannot have it both ways. You just don't. If you are not Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, or Ravens, you cannot have it both ways. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work for you. Like, it lowers the chances for you to exploit that window way too much to that the delay payment you get for these guys is just not worth it, in my opinion. So this edge room is really something positive for this team. If they have Hassan Reddick, without him, it's slightly above average, it's slightly below average in my opinion, or it's like at average, because Will McDonald, with full workload, he should be able to handle it and really go only up. But the reason why this D-line is going to be a problem, whether you have Hassan Reddick or not, is this guy. Quinnen Williams, definitely in the conversation for best defensive tackle after Aaron Donald retirement. I would give my reins to Dexter Lawrence, but if anyone says it's Quinnen Williams, I will not challenge that. Like I said with Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson, I don't care if this guy is the best or this guy is the best. Let's just enjoy that they are super incredibly good. It's simple as that. You know? Or Chris Jones, like I would say that's probably the most common trifecta that you will hear, like talking about the best defensive tackle in the league. Quinnen Williams is absolutely special. He excels in both sides of what they need from him, whereas against run, whereas against pass, he is exceptional. He absolutely deserved the money that he got last offseason. And from what obviously, Hard Knocks like shows only what the team will kind of allow it to show, but from what I've seen, what I heard, Quinnen Williams is also like a very nice guy, so I cannot help myself by not to root for this guy. Let's follow this up with, let's say, kind of a similar situation that Dexter Lawrence has in Giants, because you need someone next to him, and they were like, do you? Because Javon Kinlaw, Solomon Thomas, like he thought they just give their better piece, please. But I would say here, unlike with the Giants, both Solomon Thomas and Javon Kinlaw kind of have that high draft pick background that under Robert Saleh, you hope that he can kind of reignite that top quality that, you know, once was perceived that they could have, and to at least be good enough partners to Dexter Lawrence. If that happens and Hassan Reddick will play, boy oh boy, this D-line is going to be something you don't want to face. Even without it, it's going to be that. But with this happening, and perhaps if Will McDonald takes a huge step forward, it might be the best defensive line in football. Like, there's a potential for that. It's not reality right now, but it might happen. In terms of their linebacker, this is like when I was talking about rooms that I feel like are like good enough in a way, but very well like built. This one is very very good and very well built, because both Quincy Williams and CJ Mosley are kind of working really well together, and they are really, really good. I would say both of them would be starters for at least 10 teams. With CJ Mosley, I would say 15 teams. And I mean starters in terms of they would be the best linebacker on that team. And when you have two of these guys, let's say two of the top 25 linebackers in your one room, and Jamian Sherwood as really nice backup option, you are whistling or you are chilling. You are really happy with this one. And that also adds to my D-line, where I combine linebackers as well. This room definitely doesn't drag this D-line down, because that's the case for some of the purely D-line rankings. Now, let's talk about perhaps one knock on this defense that I ranked as, I think, a D, and that's this safety room, because there's really no one special to talk about. I mean, Tony Adams had really nice year. Here again, I have some flaw. Its passer rating against him was not 6.45. That would mean he was it's not a no-fly zone. It's like tornado zone. You cannot throw to this guy. It was 63.5. Sorry about this misclick. But he did have a really nice season. And it obviously helps when you have the pass rush that he has in front of him. So if there is anyone that I'm counting on to be not the rock of this defense, of this safety room, but good piece, it's Tony Adams. I would not be surprised if he ends this year as a good starter for me. Anything more than that would surprise me, but not shocking me. With Isaiah Oliver, Ashton Davis, some of them will need to play second safety. You won't be thrilled about it, but you also should not be if, let's say, Isaiah Oliver is our worst player on the whole side of the defense, and our second worst player is, let's say, Javon Kinlaw, and the first worst player is Tony Adams. Well, we are still good, because our top players are Dexter Lawrence and what will come with this cornerback room. Because there is the guy, the Sauce, the Gardner. Sauce Gardner, the best cornerback in the league. I don't think you should have any. Here, I would make an argument for anyone to say anyone else is better than Sauce Gardner. I'm no. And that's where I think you can have your opinions. Obviously, anyone can have them, but in this case, I would be saying you are wrong. With Chris Jones, Dexter Lawrence, Quinnen Williams, I'm not going to say you are wrong. If you put anyone else but Sauce Gardner as the number one corner, I would say, yeah, you are wrong. Because Sauce, to me, there is no one at his level. He is exceptional. He is freaking exceptional. You can say, where are his interceptions, right? Well, he doesn't necessarily get a lot of opportunity to intercept the ball, because teams just don't throw at him, because they know you should not do that. It's similar to what was happening a couple of years ago for Richard Sherman or Darrell Revis with Jets, no-fly zone, obviously, 10 years ago. Sauce is the guy. He only plays. This is only his first season, if I'm not super wrong. Perhaps fourth, but I think it's his third year. And yeah, I would already say, barring a major injury, this guy is a future Hall of Famer, guy that will rewrite the cornerback market. Good for Devin Witherspoon, who will go to that market next year. Good for him, not that necessarily that good for Seahawks, because I definitely believe Devin Witherspoon has an upside to reach close to Sauce Gardner, not necessarily to his level. Yeah. And the good thing is, or the really special thing is, that this cornerback room doesn't stop with Sauce Gardner, because you have DJ Reed, who I think is 10 to 12 best cornerback in the league. So he would be starting number one corner that you are thrilled about on 20 teams in the league. He is really special number two. And the worst thing is, it doesn't stop there, because you have Michael Carter, who is a top 25 cornerback in the league, and you have three of these guys. This is absolutely by a country mile the best cornerback trio in the league. There is really nothing bad to say about them, perhaps with one exception, that's interceptions that they don't really get. But I would say maybe the expectation from them is just don't allow anyone to catch the ball. Like, do not take unnecessary risk and just don't allow anyone to pass ball on you. And these three guys does it absolutely immaculately. And also that's a reason why I'm really not worried about the safety room, because you have these guys next to you. Qantas Tigers as your backup, I would say I'm not happy with for sure, but neither of them has necessarily like a huge history of injuries. If one of them goes down, I think the greatness of the rest of the two should cover up, even if like a guy like Qantas need to start. If two of them goes down, that's a problem, but that's really unlikely because of who they are, how they conduct the body, and they just don't have the injury concerns that I have for a lot of this squad. So we end up with, I would say for the first time in this series, we are saying some unit is the best in the league, and for this team, cornerback room is definitely the best in the league. Like, again, just like with Sauce, I dare you to say anyone is better, because I will be hard on that opinion that I can prove you wrong. I don't want to, I don't need to, but if you challenge me, I probably will. Overall, where this leaves Jets' season in terms of floor and in terms of their upside? Well, their floor is really hard to determine, because what if Aaron Rodgers goes down, and you cannot say that this is not a possibility. So if injury luck does not favor them this season, and they are much more prone to that than a lot of other teams because of injury concern, I would say their floor is still 7 wins. I go with 7 wins. And that is really a remark of how good this team is, because this kind of counts Morgan Moses, Tyron Smith, Mike Williams, Aaron Rodgers, and Hassan Reddick doesn't play. Like, let's say 4 of these guys are not playing, I would still say this team can reach 7 wins, or should reach 7 wins. That's a remark of how good, especially the defense is. And also that you have insurance policies for at least some of those guys, with Tyler Taylor and Ol Fashan. Oh, but we were saying insurance policies are bad. They are bad if your goal is to win Super Bowl. Like, I would much rather say that the floor for this team is 5 wins if it would allow them to have one more top injury prone player. I would definitely go for that, because do I care if I am 7-win team or 5-win team if I'm just this year? I don't think I do. What I care is, can I be 13-win team rather than 12-win team? Can I have, let's say, home advantage for the second round of the playoffs? That's where I care. That's what my goal is. What's the upside for this team? Well, I already said I would not be shocked if they went to Super Bowl and won, but reasonable where I see them in terms of quality, when even luck favors them, is probably conference finals. I don't think they are better than Chiefs. I don't think they are better than Ravens. But can they beat Ravens? Can they beat Bengals? Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so. They also kind of stepped up, or their year of hope, which is this year, favors them in a way where Buffalo is going through a rebuild. So they are a better team than Buffalo. Doesn't mean that we will go and smack Buffalo twice. Well, they have to challenge, so good luck with that. Still. So reasonable upside, I would say, is 12-win, winning division, and conference final. That to me is where like 90% of this season outcome for the Jets are. 7 wins to 12 wins, 90% conference final. That's where I see this team. So with that, we have our first 9 finished. Let me know how you are enjoying the season so far. And sorry about some of the bad numbers. Also, you can hear Jungie, that's my male cat, 8 months old, saying hi to you, or like actually being mean to me that I do not give him attention when I'm talking to a guest. So I'm I'm heading to him. Have a nice day, and please let me know down in the comments how you like this episode. Bye.